and what is that actually, and what is the advantage of having reciprocal lattice. Sometimes you may do things in reciprocal lattice compared to direct Breve lattice. Sometimes people call Breve lattice as direct lattice. It's reciprocal as reciprocal lattice. So you can call it direct lattice or Breve lattice. Okay. So now, but why the reciprocal lattice is important is like this. Suppose when you do in quantum mechanics, you do these wave functions are represented in momentum space sometimes. Momentum is nothing but x cross k, right? Where k is the wave vector actually. So whenever you say wave vector space, that is actually inverse of the ordinary XYZ space. So inverse spaces we have everywhere. It's not only in solid state physics, but then here what happens is, if you have a Breve lattice, proper Breve lattice, it always has its inverse. That inverse is called reciprocal lattice. So inverse is very similar. So suppose you have a uh, periodic function in time. You can always represent such a function as a Fourier series, okay, with different frequencies actually, components. That Fourier series is for the mathematical functional dynamics. It is almost analogical. You can say that the reciprocal lattice, the Fourier series of the Breve lattice, somewhat analogical, not exactly analogical. It's somewhat similar to that concept. Is somewhat similar. But the reciprocal lattice, just saying reciprocal lattice and giving primitive vector is very easy. But what actually reciprocal lattice is, we have to understand first. So for that, I have to start somewhere using the plane wave set. Plane wave is a very good analogy with the reciprocal lattice definition. First, let us see what this. So as I said, today only I will discuss about reciprocal lattice, nothing else in this. Everything is a reciprocal lattice. And another important thing I want to say, this class it will look like it is more of vector algebra actually today. If you see, once you define two basic concepts, after that it is only doing little vector algebra. All slides look like vector algebra actually, mathematics. But it's not just mathematics, it has physics behind it. In physics and mathematics, that's the difference. Math means you are only writing equations and solving. They may not be corresponding to physical situations, but here it's not the case. All these whatever vectors we write, cross product, dot product, all of them have meaning actually. They are related to lattices and then crystals also. Okay, so we always say reciprocal lattice. We don't say reciprocal crystal because that is pocket. We say Breve lattice and then reciprocal lattice. You cannot say what is the inverse of crystal. No? That doesn't, you can't define like that. Only for the lattice we can define. Let's start. Now when you come to reciprocal lattice, first don't worry about what is reciprocal lattice. Now let us take a plane wave. I simply take a plane wave. Or let us simply take a plane. I have written the plane, equation of a plane, perpendicular to the vector g. I want to take vector g because usually reciprocal lattice vector is taken as k actually. You write it as k. Then when you go to X-ray diffraction, you will get another k for the wave vector, X-ray wave vector. So there is a conflict actually. Then one k you have to write it big, other one you have to write it small. So that sometimes you may get confused. So better to write always a very different vector for reciprocal lattice vector. So this will become reciprocal lattice vector later. But let me take that vector as g only, not as k. Otherwise, all the plane wave equations, everything written in terms of k. But that k is represented as g here. If you take g dot r is equal to constant. What is r here? R is nothing but xi cap plus yj cap plus zj cap. It's a position vector. If you take g dot r is equal to constant, it represents a plane. G dot r represents a plane perpendicular to g. This you have studied in your school level actually. At least in 11th standard in mathematics must have done. G dot r you can remember otherwise. But you can prove that also if you want. But if I start proving why this plane is perpendicular to g, I know that takes unnecessary time. But if you take g dot r is a constant, it is a plane perpendicular to g. That you should take it for granted. You can prove it if you like. But we actually start with this. Now, a plane wave with wave vector g, that means a plane wave is moving along the direction g, wave vector g, can be written as e power I g dot r. Anyway, I am omitting actually time dependence here. Rather, I should write it as e power I g dot r minus omega t in the bracket actually. I into g dot r minus omega t. You write it as e power I k dot r minus omega t as well. As I said, k is replaced with g here. So e power I g dot r minus omega t. That is the plane wave. But I'm not interested in the time dependence part now. For our discussion of reciprocal lattice, we only need the spatial dependence of the plane wave. Because g dot r is a constant, is a plane, e power I g dot r represents the plane wave actually. Okay. Now, if you take in case of plane wave, because g dot r is equal to constant, represents a plane perpendicular to g. If you take a plane wave which is moving along the vector g along some direction, and what is its wavefront? Its wavefront is perpendicular to g and it's a plane. That's why it's called a plane wave. Actually, plane wave means because wavefront is a plane. If you have a spherical wavefront, we'll call it a spherical wave actually. But that cannot be written e power I g dot r. That's not point of interest now. So if you take g dot r is equal to constant, that represents a plane perpendicular to g. That plane perpendicular to g is nothing but the wavefront of the plane wave. Okay. So when you have a wavefront means what? All the plane, all the points on the plane have the same phase actually. They are in phase. Phase is not different at different points. In that particular plane, all points have the same phase. That is called wavefront actually. One such, if you take a wavefront with a particular phase, let's take suppose phase is 1 radian. Phase is measured in terms of radian. 1 radian phase, particular plane I take. So what will happen when the wave is moving? This 1 radian plane will be moving. That is the constant phase and is moving it with the phase velocity. That is called as phase velocity, but don't worry now. So it moves along with the plane, always perpendicular to g actually, the vector, propagation vector. Okay, now that means what? You have at different times this plane is moving. Okay. Or at a particular time, if you take like a photograph kind of thing, you have 1 radian planes at equal intervals placed. What is that equal interval? That is the wavelength. They are separated by one wavelength. Any constant phase, if you take constant phase surface or wavefront, if you keep the constant phase 1 radian and you look at it physically, 1 radian wavefront is there at, let's say, x is equal to 0. After x is equal to lambda, you will get another plane. X is equal to 2 lambda, you will get another. They are separated by the period of the wave actually. That's the wavelength of the wave actually. So they are actually having periodicity of the plane wave, that is lambda. So exactly similar analogy will work for reciprocal lattice. So what will happen in case of reciprocal lattice? This wavefront actually becomes your lattice plane. Here we have lattice plane now, which is a set of discrete points. So we have many lattice planes. I have already told you, you can have infinitely many parallel lattice planes in a lattice. One set of parallel lattice planes will have one reciprocal lattice vector perpendicular to those planes. We'll find out what is that magnitude and other things we can find out. But you have to understand this plane wave concept. Then only you can define actually reciprocal lattice. Okay. So it is very simple. In the plane wave, we have wavefront perpendicular to the propagation vector, and wavefront is moving. But you cannot say that lattice planes are not moving here; they are fixed. But if you take the wavefront and the wave is moving, if you take a snapshot, you look at 1 radian phase. That is actually spaced at equal intervals, lambda difference. Lambda is the wavelength of the wave. The same way here, the lattice planes are separated by distance d, that is called interplanar spacing. Okay, and the vector perpendicular to the plane is nothing but the reciprocal lattice vector. And also, while even in the plane wave also, you say suppose if r has unit meter, what is the unit of g? It should have inverse meter. Always, whenever you define this kind of quantity, where e power I g dot r, it should not have any dimension in physics, otherwise it doesn't work it. Not only for exponential, even for sine k dot r if you want to write. K dot r should be dimensionless always. If it has dimension, your physics will not work. So always remember, whenever you write a quantity with exponential or with trigonometric functions or any logarithmic functions, that quantity should be dimensionless. So if r is in meters, g must be in inverse meters. That means if, for a plane wave, if r is in meter and your g is in meter per second, that is always a reciprocal. Reciprocal is there everywhere actually. If r is in the normal space, your g vector is in reciprocal space. That's not having the meter dimension. You cannot write it in xyz It's coordinate system actually. That should have a different coordinate system. Gx, gy, gz. Okay. So same way here, you can have a reciprocal lattice vector for the corresponding to the lattice planes, which are equispaced, parallel lattice planes, and separation is d. That is. Okay. So this I already told this thing. Crystal's lattice planes take the rule of wavefronts. The reciprocal lattice vector takes the rule of wave vector, and interplanar space it takes the rule of wavelength. Exactly analogical. So now you see I showed the HKL planes, parallel planes separated by distance d, and wave this reciprocal lattice vector g is perpendicular to the plane set. Now we can actually, after understanding this, we can define what is the reciprocal lattice set. Our definition goes like this. Okay, before defining, let us say that if you have a plane wave e power ig dot r, let us assume that it possesses the periodicity of the Bravais lattice. You know what is Bravais lattice by now? We have Bravais lattice vector, infinitely many Bravais lattice vectors R. If it has the periodicity of the Bravais lattice, then what we can do? E power I g dot r plus r should be e power I g dot r. If it has the same periodicity, I am saying. Then let us assume that it has the periodicity. The plane wave what we are considering has the periodicity of the Bravais lattice. What does it mean? If we replace r with r plus r, you should get the same. That is called periodicity. E power I g dot r plus r is equal to e power I g dot r. That simply gives you e power I g dot r should be 1. E power I into g dot r should be 1. What is that r? R is the Bravais lattice vector. G is the reciprocal lattice vector. Reciprocal vector, whatever. But we'll see that is also a lattice vector. E power I g dot r should be 1. That means if you are given a Bravais lattice vector, from this relation you can find out what is the corresponding g. Or you can also write it in a simpler form. G dot r should be 2n pi, where n is an integer. G dot r should be 2n pi, where n is an integer. So for all r in Bravais lattice, this is not only for one particular r. You keep changing r, you will change g8. Suppose r1, you will get g1, r2, g2. But always the relation is followed like this. G dot r should be 2n pi. That is the relation between Bravais lattice vector and reciprocal lattice vector. But this is valid for all Bravais lattice vectors. How many Bravais lattice vectors we have? We have infinitely many Bravais lattice vectors. So for each Bravais lattice vector, we will get one reciprocal lattice vector g. That means we are getting infinitely many reciprocal lattice vectors. Now that is defined. So definition of reciprocal lattice actually goes like this: the set of all wave vectors g that yield plane waves with the periodicity of a given Bravais lattice is known as its reciprocal lattice. This is the way you can define that after understanding this. With the set of all wave vectors, because the g originally started with the wave vector of the wave, plane wave vector. That's why we can call it the set of all wave vectors g that yield plane waves with the periodicity of a given Bravais lattice is known as its reciprocal lattice. If you want to write it mathematically, it should be simply e power I g dot r is 1, or consequently you can write g dot r is equal to n pi also. But better to write this way because we are saying that plane wave on this thing. So e power I g dot r is 1. So that set of vector g is called reciprocal lattice vectors. If set of vectors r belong to Bravais lattice, then when you call the j is a reciprocal lattice, that means r must be Bravais lattice. Otherwise you cannot call it. You cannot just like that take some vectors and put it here and find g. That will not be called as a reciprocal lattice. Reciprocal lattice we call it only when r belongs to Bravais lattice. Okay, so this is the definition we should use. And usually you see that people start writing what is a1 is equal to b2 cross b3, or b1 is equal to a2 cross a3 by a1 dot a2 cross a3 multiplied by 2 pi. So that has no meaning actually. First, unless you understand. See, simply it means like this. For each set of planes, HKL planes, there is a reciprocal lattice vector perpendicular to the planes. But how many different types of planes you can have? Many, infinitely many different orientation planes you can find. Okay. So that's why for each set of planes, you have a reciprocal lattice vector. But we'll come to that later. What is that shortest reciprocal lattice vector? How it is related to your Miller indices, etc. But if the definition is clear, then I can go ahead. If you are asked a question, what is reciprocal lattice? Just to write this before I g dot r is equal to 1. If r is Bravais lattice, g is the reciprocal lattice. The same thing is actually written here. These two are same. Mathematically, we are saying e power I g dot r is 1. Otherwise, we are saying that the set of all wave vectors g that yield plane waves, the periodicity of a given Bravais lattice is known as its reciprocal. Okay. So yeah, now first thing is, because now we have understood that e power I g dot r is 1 or g dot r is equal to n pi. So now because r are infinite, the lattice vectors are infinite actually. So g also has infinite vectors. So now if those infinite vectors, do they belong to Bravais lattice? That's the question actually. Can you say that the reciprocal lattice vectors what we found infinitely many, is it a Bravais lattice or not? You have to prove that it's a Bravais lattice. So let us try to do that. But before just starting, so what you need is, see, you take your primitive cell A1, A2, A3. I have taken odd shaped primitive cell where A1 is not equal to A2, not equal to A3. If they are looking equal, don't worry. But I mean to say that we take irregular this thing, parallelogram. A1 not equal to A2, not equal to A2. And alpha not equal to beta, not equal to gamma, they are not equal to 90 degree. Then let us take a general primitive cell. Because it's a primitive cell, because only lattice points are present at the corners. That's why so you can call it a primitive cell. Yesterday I told that actually. Okay. So I have taken a primitive cell. Now our question is, we have come to an understanding that if you have a set of planes, there must be reciprocal lattice vector perpendicular to it, right? Now let us see what are the different planes we can define for this primitive cell. Suppose I can have a plane A1, A2. Yes, there are two vectors A1 and A2. I can define a plane comprised of A1 and A2. I can also define A2, A3 plane and A3, A1 plane. So three different planes I can immediately define from the primitive cell. Suppose if I take A1, A2 plane or A2, A3 plane, whatever. Let us take A2, A3 plane. If I take A2, A3 plane, if you extend the lattice by translating with A3 and A1, you can generate a two-dimensional lattice. Yes, that's possible, because any particular plane in Bravais lattice in one plane, that will be Bravais lattice in two dimensions. So A2 and A3, if you keep on extending, just put above A3 one more point, beyond A2, like that if you keep on extending, you will get a Bravais lattice. That means you will have an infinite plane. So this plane and just the plane opposite to that, which is on this side, on the right side, they will have the same Miller indices because they are parallel planes. These two set of planes, like that you can define many, infinitely many planes you can define if you extend the lattice. Now for these two planes, A3, A2 planes, you can have a reciprocal lattice vector. Because if you have plane, you can always have a reciprocal lattice vector perpendicular to that. So I can have a reciprocal lattice vector perpendicular to A2, A3 plane. But what is the vector perpendicular to A2, A3? Because A2 and A3 are known to you already, because the primitive lattice vectors are known. Perpendicular to A2 and A3 plane, the A2 cross A3. Direction is A2 cross A3. But what is the magnitude? You can find it later. But at least you can imagine that the reciprocal lattice vector perpendicular to the lattice plane, lattice plane given by A2 and A3 is proportional to A2 cross A3, because that will give you the perpendicular vector. Right? So from the vector algebra we know that actually. So we are going to use such logic actually. So we have basically three different planes we define: A1, A2, A2, A3, A3, A1. For each set of planes, we'll have one reciprocal lattice vector. From that actually you will get B1, B2, B3, how you write it in your textbooks. Okay. So now in the primitive cell we have lattice planes A1, A2, A3, A3, A1. I have already told these things. Vector perpendicular to A3, A2, A3 plane is, let us call it B1, because the notation should be proper, because you have A2 and A3, so you should call it B1. You cannot call it B2 or B3 actually. So if you call it as B1, that's the reciprocal lattice vector. But as I told you, it should be proportional to A2 plus A3. Let us multiply with a constant. Exact value of constant we have to find. What is we have to find? But we are sure that reciprocal lattice vector perpendicular to A2, A3 plane is in the direction A2 plus A3. Okay. That's why I multiply with a constant. You will find that constant by some algebra. Suppose now I take a dot product with A1. I take a dot product with A1. Then what I will get on the right side? C into A2 cross A3 dot A1. But this product you already know. A2 cross A3 dot A1 or A1 dot A2 plus A3. That is the volume of the primitive cell. That is C into V. B1 dot A1, if you define, that will become C into V. Now let's look at what is this B1 dot A1. We have no idea. We don't know, because we know, we are sure that B1 is perpendicular to A2. B1 is perpendicular to A3 also. Right? That's the way we have defined it. But what is the angle between B1 and A1? We have no idea. That is not perpendicular definitely. Because B1 is perpendicular to the plane containing A2 and A3. That means B1 is perpendicular to A2. B1 is perpendicular to A3. But what is the angle between B1 and A1? We don't know. But we can define an orthogonal condition that will fix the value of B1 A1, B1 dot A1. Let us do that. So orthogonality condition is like this. Pi dot Aj is 2 pi delta Ij, where delta Ij is called Kronecker delta. If I is equal to j, that is 1, I not equal to j, that is 0. That means B1 dot A1. Suppose I is equal to 1 means j is equal to 1. B1 dot A1 should be equal to 2 pi. And B1 dot A2 is 0. That's what we need actually, because B1 is perpendicular to A2. So B1 dot A2 should be 0 obviously. That condition we have to put that condition actually. And similarly, B1 is perpendicular to A3 also. B1 dot A3 should also be 0. So if you follow these, what will happen is B1 dot A1 will be 2 pi, B2 dot A2 will be 2 pi, B3 dot A3 will be 2 pi, all others will be 0. Okay. Now, yeah. So now what we can do, because B1 dot A1, just go back once, where B1 dot A1 is called C into V, but now B1 dot A1 is 2 pi. So C becomes 2 pi by V. Go back one equation, that C becomes B1 dot A1 by V. And B1 dot A1 is nothing but 2 pi from the orthogonality condition, 2 pi by V. Okay, so that means our constant becomes 2 pi by V. What is V actually? That's the volume of the primitive cell in the Bravais lattice. That is nothing but A1 dot A2 plus A3. Nothing but A1 dot A2 plus A3. Okay, so that is now you can write your B1. B1 is nothing but C into A2 plus A3. You substitute for C. That's what I have done here. 2 pi by B. B is replaced with A1 dot A2 plus A3. Then A2 plus A3 is already there in your definition of B1. So you get B1 is equal to 2 pi into A2 plus A3 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. That's the way you can actually get these vectors B1 and B. They are not just given to you, just like that. In the definition they have to follow. Okay. So B1 is equal to 2 pi into A2 plus A3 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. So vector perpendicular to A3 A1 plane, that is, let us write it as B2. With a vector perpendicular to A3 and A1 plane, A3 cross A1, C into A3 cross A1. This constant may be different, not same constant, but you can put the same thing and see. Similarly, you take B2 dot A2. B2 will become 2 pi A3 cross A1 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. So similarly, you can also find B3, 2 pi into A1 cross A2 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. All the numerator is same. A1 dot A2 plus A3, that is nothing but the primitive cell volume in the Bravais lattice, original Bravais lattice. A factor 2 pi is used. You can also remove this 2 pi. That's not required actually in the definition. Because in the orthogonality condition, we put it as 2 pi. Just if you take this delta Ij without 2 pi, you will get only without 2 pi here. But better to put that 2 pi, because that takes care of, you know, that when you write Fourier transform of a function, you always use 1 by square root of 2 pi. When you inverse Fourier transform, again use 1 by square root of 2 pi. This 2 pi takes care of that actually. Okay, so that's why that 2 pi factor is good, because this is analogical to Fourier transform. The 2 pi factor is introduced. Otherwise, there is nothing great in that. You can remove that and also replace. But the problem is all the solid physics books use with this 2 pi factor. If you suddenly remove all your equations may look different. You have to be very careful if you remove. You have to derive on your own. Okay, this is the way you can find out B1, B2, B3 vector set. What are B1, B2, B3? B1, B2, B3 are the primitive lattice vectors in the reciprocal space. B1 is one primitive lattice vector, B1 is B3. Because A1, A2, A3 are non-coplanar, I told you already. A1, A2, A3 must be non-coplanar to get a three-dimensional Bravais lattice. Because A1, A2, A3 are non-coplanar, B1, B2, B3 also non-coplanar. It must be non-coplanar. Okay. So that means we have found from three primitive lattice vectors A1, A2, A3, we have found B1, B2, B3 reciprocal vectors. You see the dimension of this. Suppose let's say the dimension of original primitive vectors are in meters or length. This will be 1 by L, right? A1, A2, A3, that is meter square. by meter cube. It's 1 by L. See, this dimension of this will be the inverse of the dimension of A actually. That's what. So this, they are always in the reciprocal space. They are not direct because A's A1, A2, A3 are measured in meters or centimeters, whatever length. But this becomes inverse of that. All are like that. Okay. They are in the reciprocal space. Okay. Now we found three primitive lattice vectors B1, B2, B3, which are non-coplanar in reciprocal space. Whether it's a reciprocal lattice or not, we will come, but it is in a reciprocal space. We have found three vectors B1, B2, B3. If A1, A2, A3 have dimension L, these vectors have L inverse. Once you have three non-coplanar vectors in your reciprocal space, any general vector G in the reciprocal space can be a linear combination of B1, B2, B3. Because this is the reason I told you that this looks like more of vector algebra class actually, but it's not so. So G can be written K1 B1 plus K2 B2 plus K3 B3. This is always true. It's not only for this reciprocal lattice or crystal. In general, in mathematics, if you have B1, B2, B3, three non-coplanar vectors in three-dimensional space, you can write any vector you take. You can always make it a linear combination of K1 B1 plus K2 B2 plus K3 B3, where K1, K2, K3 are real numbers. I'm not saying integers now. If you see, you have to check whether they are integers or no later. First, let us assume that they are some real numbers. Okay. Now we know already Bravais lattice vector n1a1 plus n2a2 plus n3a3. That is our Bravais lattice basically. If you take the dot g dot r, now we use, suppose first one we multiply k1 n1 into b1 dot a1. What is b1 dot a1? That is 2 pi. Okay, let me put 2 pi here. 2 pi into k1 n1. Similarly, k2 n2, b2 dot a2, that is 2 pi. 2 pi factor will come from k3 n3 into b3 dot a3, that is also 2 pi. But if you take other cross product, dot product, b1 dot a2, that is 0, because bi dot aj is 0, b1 dot a3 is 0, b2 dot a1 is 0, b2 dot a3 is 0, b3 dot a1 is 0, b3 dot a2 is 0, a2 is 0. All other cross terms will become 0. Only this that is according to our orthogonality condition we have introduced actually. Okay, g dot r is to 2 pi into k1 n1 plus k2 n2 plus k3 n3. Right? Yeah. Now, but we know from the definition of reciprocal lattice, e power I g dot r is equal to 1, or g dot r is equal to 2 pi times integer. That's what I told you in the definition. Okay, that means g dot r is 2 pi times integer. That should be equal to 2 pi times k1 n1 plus k2 n2 plus k3 n3. That will give you k1 n1 plus k2 n2 plus k3 n3 is an integer. Note that k1, k2, k3, these are the coefficients of a reciprocal lattice vector. n1, n2, n3 are, they are integers. We know that n1, n2, n3 are already integers because we are started with a Bravais lattice. R we know Bravais lattice. n1, n2, n3 are integers. But they are coefficients of Bravais lattice vector. Okay, that's equal to integer. Now all n's are integers. If you want to get for all combination of n's, if you want to get k1 n1 plus k2 n2 plus k3 n3 is an integer always, k's also must be an integer set. You cannot have any otherwise. If you want to justify that, you can just do like this. Suppose you take n2 is equal to 0, n3 is equal to 0. Then what will happen? K1 n1 must be an integer. But you already know n1 is an integer. That means k1 should be an integer. Similarly, you make n1 0 and n3 0 because n1, n2, n3 take all integral values. It can take 0, negative, positive. If you make n1 0 and n3 0, k2 n2 is an integer. If that's a different integer, it doesn't matter. That means n we know already integer, so k2 must be an integer. Similarly, you can justify for k3 also. But some special cases you may find where k1, k2, k3 are not integers, but total is an integer. But that doesn't help you because you should be able to prove for all values. I will give you any n1, n2, n3. You should show me that k1, k2, k3 are not integers. Then I can make it. But that doesn't happen. Suppose, for example, let us take. I take k1 as half, k2 also as half actually. Then half into, let's take n1 2, half into n1, half into 2, that is 1, half into 2, that is 1. Let's take n3 0. That means 1 plus 1 is an integer, but k1, k2 are not integers. Half and half I have taken. That is the case then. Suppose if you take k1 is equal to half now. Let me take a special case. I will take n2 0, n3 0. K1 into n1 should be an integer, but already you have showed that k1 is equal to half. That's not an integer. How can, if n1 is integer, k1 n1 is not, is an integer. but K1 is fraction. That's not possible. You can justify, you can just think about it. And usually when I take class in MSc class, immediately students will come. Sir, K1, K2, some special values they take. And show me that, sir, N1, N2, N3 are integers, but K1, K2, K3 not necessarily integer. One special case doesn't work here. You should be able to prove for all. And simplest way you can check is make any two zero. That third one will have to be an integer. Other two zero. This one integer. So like that you can do. Okay. So this is a condition. You can just take it for granted that K1 N1 plus K2 N2 plus K3 N3 is equal to integers. Where N1 N2 N3 are integers, that will imply that K1, K2, K3 must be integers. Okay. So now we write G vector K1 B1 plus K2 B2 plus K3 B3. Suppose if we have a 3 non-coplanar vector B1 B2 B3 and you get vector G as K1 B1 plus K2 B2 plus K3 B3, where K1, K2, K3 are integers. Just now we have proved. That means G is also a Bravais lattice. It's a different Bravais lattice. We are not saying exactly same as R. It can be a different Bravais lattice, but it is a Bravais lattice. What does it mean? You just reproduce your mesh or points using these vectors B1, B2, B3. You will see that all points have the same symmetry and the same surrounding. That's what Bravais lattice means. But R Bravais lattice may be different from G Bravais lattice, but both are Bravais lattices. To start with the Bravais lattice, which inverse will be Bravais lattice. Most important point is orthogonality condition you have to introduce. And how do you introduce orthogonality condition? Because I know that B1 is perpendicular to A2 or perpendicular to A3. So that means B1 dot A1 should be 0. B1 dot A2 should be 0. B1 dot A3 should also be 0. But B1 dot A1, we don't know exactly. That we take it as 2 pi. That's how we define our orthogonality condition. But B1 dot A1, as I said, you can take it as 1 also. But in that case, you conflict with all the textbooks that we are writing. Okay. So this is this reciprocal lattice is a Bravais lattice simply. G spans Bravais lattice means the reciprocal lattice is also a Bravais lattice. Okay. Now let us take reciprocal of reciprocal lattice. Because once we know that you started with the Bravais lattice, you got the reciprocal. If you reverse it again, you should get the original like that. Suppose we take x. What is the reciprocal of it? 1 by x. If you again reciprocate, you should get back x. Are we getting the same? Is it same or no? We have to verify. Okay. Reciprocal of reciprocal lattice. If you want to do that reciprocal of reciprocal lattice, just take your start with your Bravais lattice A1, A2, A3. Construct first reciprocal lattice. B1 is equal to 2 pi into A2 plus A3 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. Like that, you define B2 and B3 also. Now let us take C1, C2, C3 as primitive vectors of the reciprocal lattice formed by B1, B2. That means C1 can be in terms of B1 and B2 or B2 and B3. C2 can be in terms of all C1, C2, C3, all three vectors can be written using the same logic in terms of B1, B2, B3. Because C1, C2, C3 are the primitive vectors of the reciprocal lattice formed by B1, B2, B3. Let us write those things. Then C1. How will you write C1? Just replace A's with B cells. That's all it is. 2 pi into B2 cross B3 by B1 dot B2 cross B3. Probably now you really agree that it's like vector algebra, right? Yeah. Now let's see what is C1 in terms of A1. A's. That's what we need to find. If you want to find, it's very simple. Not much of algebra actually. B2. Let us take the numerator. B2 cross B3 is equal to B2 cross. What is B3? 2 pi times A1 cross A2 by A1 dot A2 cross A3. Because I want to find C in terms of A. That's why I replace. But don't replace B2. Don't replace both. One is sufficient for him. I only replaced for B3. To replace B2 also, that will be A3 cross A1 by A1 dot A2 cross A3. It will become very clumsy. That's not required. I only replace B3 simply. Okay. My B3 is 2 pi into A1 cross A2 by A1 dot A2 cross A3. That will become 2 pi because B2 cross is there. B2 cross A1 cross A2. It's a triple cross product. And numerator is triple scalar product. But this triple scalar product, that's just the volume of the primitive cell. We know it, nothing to do there. Now, if you take the numerator of this, B2 cross A1 cross A2, this can be expanded in terms of dot product. B2 dot A2 into A1 minus B2 dot A1 into A2. Now, what is B2 dot A2? That's 2 pi. That's 2 pi A1. But B2 dot A1 is 0 from our orthogonality condition. That will only give you 2 pi A1. Then, Now you come to this B2 cross B3. B2 cross B3 is 2 pi times this we have simplified R. That is 2 pi A1 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. Or that will become 2 pi whole square by V. V is nothing but A1 dot A2 plus A3. That is the primitive cell volume in the original prevalence into A1. So B2 cross B3 has become 2 pi whole square by V into A1. Then, but we need also denominator V1 dot V2 cross B. This is for numerator. But what about denominator V1 dot V2 cross V3? That is V1 dot 2 pi whole square by V into A1. That is 2 pi whole cube by V, because V1 dot A1 is 2 pi again from our orthogonality. 2 pi whole cube by V. Okay. Now, denominator here should be replaced with 2 pi whole cube by V. Numerator should be replaced with 2 pi whole square by V into A1. To do that, C1 is equal to another 2 pi is there. That will give 2 pi whole square by V into A1 by 2 pi whole cube by V in the denominator. That just gives you to A1 actually. That means C1 is equal to A1. If you just take reciprocal of the lattice formed by A1, A2, A3, that is B1, B2, B3. If you again reciprocate it, you will get back to the original lattice. C2 is equal to A2. In the same way, C1 is equal to A1 you have proved. Similarly, you just take the C2 expression and do the same thing. You will get C2 is equal to A2. C3 is equal to A3. Exactly same thing. So that means the reciprocal of reciprocal lattice is the original Bravais lattice actually. Okay. So that is, so two things we have done now. Once we have showed that reciprocal lattice is a Bravais lattice first, and then we showed that reciprocal of reciprocal lattice is the original Bravais lattice. It's a very simple algebra. That's why I told in this, when you calculate B2 cross B3, you don't have to substitute for B2. Just keep the B2 as it is, because we have orthogonality relation which can give you these values directly. You don't have to express it B2 in terms of A1, A2, A3 or something. To do that, you will get actually cross products, four cross products, not triple, and it will be clumsy. Okay. So that we have proved that reciprocal of reciprocal is the original Bravais lattice. Okay. Now let us find some simple reciprocal lattices for simple structures. What is the simplest structure we have? Simplest one is simple cubic, right? Now I want to find the reciprocal of simple cubic lattice. That's the reason I have told already these vectors to you. A1 is equal to I cap, A2 is equal to Kj cap, A3 is equal to AK cap. Just find B1, B2, B3 for this B1. 2 pi into A2 cross A3 by A1 dot A2 cross A3. 2 pi into A2 cross A3. What is that A2 cross J cross K? That is I. And A square. But what is this volume? Volume of the primitive cell in simple cubic is a cube only. That's the whole cube is only one lattice coordinate. So you don't have to actually find it from these vectors. I'm not saying no, but you don't have to do that. You know that for simple cubic structure, A1 dot A2 cross A3 is A cube. That's 2 pi by A into I cap. Similarly, we do it for B2 also. We take B2 expression A1 cross A3 by A1 dot A2 cross A3 multiplied by 2 pi. That will give you 2 pi by A into J cap. And B3 is equal to 2 pi by A into K cap. Now what has happened? We have got three vectors. One along I cap, one along J cap, one along K cap. They are exactly looking like original primitive vectors, except A becomes 2 pi by A. And also A is replaced with 2 pi by A. That's all. And the value is different. That means you again got a simple cubic, but lattice parameter is 2 pi by A, not A. Okay. That means B1, B2, B3 span a simple cubic lattice with the parameter, lattice parameter 2 pi by A. It's simple cubic. So that means reciprocal lattice of simple cubic is again simple cubic. That's the simplest structure we can have. Okay. Oh, I have 2 times it has come out. Okay. Then let us take body centered. B is missing. Body centered cubic lattice. Yeah. If you take body centered, we know A1, A2, A3. Yesterday I have told you how to find these symmetric vectors only you take. But for reciprocal lattice, if you want to justify body centered cubic, you want to find what it is, what is. People know already that body centered cubic will give you face centered. If you want to know that it's body centered goes to face centered, you must always start with symmetric vectors only. Otherwise, if you take vectors which are not symmetric, it will not give you that result properly. Okay. In any case, body centered cubic primitive vectors, you can take it anything, but in this particular case, for finding reciprocality, better take symmetric vectors. A1, A2, A3, Yesterday I told you A1 means minus I cap, A2 means minus J cap, A3 means minus K cap, like that. Okay. Yeah. Now B1 is 2 pi into A2 plus A3 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. To find that A2 plus A3 using the determinant, you will get that A2 plus A3 will be A square by 4 into 2 into J plus K. That's what you can check it if you like. Okay. That will be A square by 2 into J plus K. Okay. Now V1 is 2 pi times A2 plus A3, that J square by 2 into J plus K. Then what is the volume of this here? Because A1 dot A2 plus A3, that is the volume of the primitive cell in body centered cubic. Okay. Volume of the primitive cell in body centered cubic. Volume of this primitive cell in body centered cubic is A cube by 2, because whole unit cell is A cube and that has 2 light spots. But primitive cell volume A1 dot A2 plus A3 A cube by 2. That you have to. Otherwise, if you want, if somebody is interested, you take these vectors and find out A1 dot A2 plus A3 also you get same. There's nothing great. You can simply get that. Suppose already A2 plus A3 you have got it here, you see. It is there. Just take dot product with A1. You get A1 dot A2 plus A3. That will be A cube by 2 always. So that's why I replaced A cube by 2. Empty cell volume in BCC. Then 2 pi by A into J plus K. That's what you will get actually. 2 pi by A into K plus K. Similarly, for B2 you will get 2 pi by A K plus I. B3 2 pi by A I plus J. If you look at this, these vectors are very similar to the FCC primitive lattice vector. Just see that FCC primitive lattice vectors are A by 2 into J plus K, A by 2 into K plus I, A by 2 into I plus J. They are actually like that. The only difference is A by 2 is replaced with 2 pi by A now. That doesn't matter. The constant is different, but vectors are in the same direction. That means these vectors are in the form of FCC primitive vectors. So reciprocal lattice of BCC lattice is FCC lattice. You will get an FCC lattice. But your lattice constant will change. There you are starting with A, but here you may have 2 pi by A. So that is not the issue actually, but it is FCC. Okay, now let us start with face-centered cubic lattice. Here face-centered cubic, what are the primitive lattice vectors we have for face-centered cubic? For face-centered cubic, the primitive lattice vectors are A1 is equal to A by 2 into J plus K, A by 2 into J plus K. Is the screen visible to all of you? Hello? Yeah. Are you able to see the screen? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, somebody is putting a message saying that I'm not sharing the screen. I think it is shared, right? It's okay.
Everything is easy. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. Somebody is putting a message that stopped screen sharing. No, I have not stopped it. Okay. Yeah. So these are the face-centered cubic primitive lattice vectors of the Bravais lattice. These things we already know. I have defined all these things. Now let us find reciprocal vectors. V1 is equal to 2 pi into A2 plus A3 by A1 dot A2 plus A3. So what is A2 plus A3? Just take the vectors and find out. That will be A square by 4 J plus K minus I. Then V1 will be 2 pi by A J plus K minus I. You see now the primitive cell volume or FCC is A cube by 4. A cube is the whole unit cell volume, but that volume contains 4 lattice points. So what is the volume corresponds to 1 lattice point? A cube by 4. That's why I put it A cube by 4 here. And if somebody doesn't want to take it like that, you are given the vectors already. A1 dot A2 plus A3. You just calculate it, you will get the same. Okay. Maybe sometimes you need to take the magnitude. Otherwise, there is no problem. Okay. Similarly, you can find B2. 2 pi by A K plus I cap minus J cap. B3 is 2 pi by A I cap plus J cap minus K cap. So that is the reciprocal lattice of FCC is BCC, because these vectors you see exactly in the same direction as for BCC primitive lattice vectors. Only the constant is different again. Yesterday we had a constant A by 2 into something, same vector. Now we have 2 pi by A, but it's in the same format. That's why reciprocal lattice of FCC is BCC. Reciprocal lattice of BCC is FCC. Okay. Yeah, I have come now. I also want to discuss a little bit about reciprocal lattice of hexagonal lattice. I will come back to this slide. Yesterday I have showed this slide. There was a mistake actually in yesterday's slide. That's the reason I'm showing it again. Okay, what was the mistake? I'll tell you. So yesterday I told you that y-axis is like this. This is the unit cell of the hexagonal lattice, which I have showed yesterday. Again I'm showing. Okay, A1, A2, A3 directions are shown. X-axis is towards me actually, okay, and X, Y, Z axis are taken like that. A1 and A2 are at equal angles, making equal angles with y-axis. A2 makes 60 degree, A1 also makes 60 degree. Total angle of A1 it is 120 degree. That's what you have to do. So when A1 makes 60 degree with the y-axis below, but its x component will be positive. A sine 60 I cap plus A cos 60 j cap. That is root 3 by 2 A I cap plus A by 2 j cap. Similarly, A2 will make x component the opposite direction, that will be negative, minus a sine 60 I cap plus a cos 60 j cap, that should be minus root 3 by 2 a I cap plus a by 2 j cap, because both have positive y component, they are making equal angles on either side, so both have the positive y component, that's a by 2 j cap. A3 is equal to c into k cap, there is no problem about A3, and already you know these things, the primitive cell volume is root 3 by 2 a square c, whereas unit cell volume, 3 times of that. 3 unit cells are there in the, the 3 primitive cells are there in the unit cell. So I will use this information to find the reciprocal lattice of hexagonal cell. But this is very interesting thing happens, because now let us not worry about the A3 axis, that is along Z axis. Let us take only the plane, A1, A2 plane. Let's look at that A1, A2 plane and try to find reciprocal lattice vectors. Suppose in A1, A2 plane, I would want it back here. See, the x is down and y is on the right side. That's what we had exactly. A1 and A2, they are red ones. They are the original primitive lattice vectors for the Bravais lattice. They are at an angle 120 degree to each other. Okay. Now, if I want to find B1, what I should do? B1 is equal to 2 pi into A2 cross A3 by A1 dot A2 cross A3. So that basically I would find out the direction will come by, given direction is given by A2 cross A3. What is A2 cross A3? A3 is actually perpendicular to the plane. Now it's towards me, let's say it's perpendicular to the screen. Okay, A3 is perpendicular to the screen. If you take A2 cross A3, just rotate a screw from A2 to A3 in the perpendicular direction, you will get towards B1. I have indicated B1 actually there, you see. You will get it towards B1, because B1 should be perpendicular to A2, right? Because A2 is already making 60 degree angle above the y-axis. Below the y-axis, it will make 30 degree angle. Below the y-axis, it will make 30 degree, because B1 must be perpendicular to A2. That's our orthogonality condition. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. Screen is not visible, then let me stop once and then. Maybe I have to log out or what? Screen is still visible. Stop screen share. Yeah. Let me do it again. It's a mistake. Stop sharing from the current slide. Yeah.